We've just rolled into Wombeyan Caves Reserve, so the caves are over there somewhere. One brave camper. Discovery. This is the 5th generation of Land Rover's epic Discovery motorcar. It's an SUV, variable ride height, air suspension, and this particular one has the 3-litre diesel engine. 190 kilowatts and 600 newton meters of torque. All 4 wheels are driven, and this is proper 4-wheel drive, none of that all-wheel drive nonsense. As you can see, I'm in the park with my roo type friends. There's hundreds of them. This ground is literally covered with roo poo, and the road down was incredibly rough. We're on the 20-inch wheels, which coped really well. The dirt road is just monstrous. The suspension's making thousands of calculations per minute in this $100,000 car. Blimey, that's a long way down. That's a very, very long way down. Even with non-off-roading tyres and non-off-roading wheels, this is still handling pretty atrocious conditions pretty well. You wouldn't want to go too fast though, because hitting rocks with wheels like this would destroy them. And over here there's some cliffs where rocks have been falling off. There are rock falls that we passed earlier on. And it does get a bit hairy. Australia, welcome to it. You get an awful lot of SUV for 100 grand, especially from Range Rover. This is on the same platform as Range Rover now, so this is really your discount disco. The seats are adjustable from the front, from your phone app, from inside both rear doors, and from inside the rear hatch. You can see here that the screen's divided up into 2, and automatically the system is showing me that the hubs are locking and unlocking, or that the diffs, are locking and unlocking, and which wheels are doing the driving, and if there's any slippage. A little while ago, some of the wheels were slipping and they show up in orange. So they're the ones that the system is controlling with little dabs of brakes from the ABS system. ABS has made better drivers of us all, saved God knows how many lives, but it also helps in off-roading. So if I'd actually decided to go off into the bush, these control systems would be making absolutely sure that the wheels were staying in contact with the ground and maintaining traction. We've come back onto a paved section now, and this little bridge over this river is absolutely amazing. Have a look at this. How pretty is that? Of course you can get here without a 4-wheel drive, but with a 4-wheel drive you can then go anywhere you like. You could go on that. I'm not going to. Don't panic. I just saw my Land Rover man then have a clenching moment. We've climbed up a little bit further now, and we'll soon start descending into the area where the Wombeyan Caves are situated. But in the meanwhile, I wanted to show you some of this countryside. It is just breathtaking. Just utterly, utterly breathtaking. Of course, the road itself is pretty treacherous because it's so narrow, but then you've got that beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Normally on roads like this, especially if you're driving a road-based vehicle, a road like normal car, the suspension it's just not made for this kind of track, and you bounce about all over it and the steering's all over the place. This doesn't feel that much different to driving it on a highway, which is pretty remarkable. And that's all down to good engineering and very, very clever electronics. Not that, as I said before, we're going very fast, but because I've driven on this road before in road going cars, it's a very, very different kettle of fish. And you feel like you could absolutely go anywhere. You feel like you could literally go anywhere. Jeez. You can't see some of the potholes because they're kind of the same colour as the road. Like there's no shadow in them. But I've got to say these wheels and tyres are coping pretty well. This is a really quite dramatic road. And I've got to say that on a reasonable quality dirt road, the ride is just amazing. Let's get that out of the road. That's your highway armrest. Really no good for when you've got to do some fancy steering. And this road is... what's it telling me to do? I don't know what it's telling me to do. There are lots of bings and bongs and messages come up on the dashboard telling you, what? Slow down or vehicle will raise. Slow down or vehicle will raise? Okay. I'm not quite sure what it's telling me. Right. It was having a hissy fit because I'd somehow locked it in access mode, which is the lowest mode for the air suspension to crouch. There's some beautiful scenery here, absolutely beautiful scenery. And this is the way I'd want to see it in something that's incredibly capable. We came through earlier the keyhole tunnel through the rocky outcrop. Australia really has some of the most beautiful countryside. And you really want something safe to see it in. I had planned on filming going back up this road as well, going home this way, but the road quite honestly is so appalling that I've decided I'm going to go home via Goulburn and not come back up this road. Coming down is hairy enough. I stopped at the top of the hill to show a few of the appointments. To drive onto that grassy knoll, I raised it to off-road height. And then when I was taking the pictures, oh my God, literally cannot see around that corner. I opened the inner rear tailgate, and that is the spot that you'd perch on to sit and watch your polo matches or whatever, or your horsey things, or sit and put your scuba dive gear on. I've got to say, it was a pretty fantastic drive. The Discovery is so competent, you just don't feel like you're even going to any effort. You don't feel like you've outstretched yourself. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.